On the 10th of February 2019, the Egyptian President Abdul Sisi was handed the presidency of the African Union by his Rwandan counterpart, Paul Kagame. The African Union was established in 2001 as a successor of the Organization of African Unity, which was established on the 25th of May 1963 as the outcome of the summit held in Addis Ababa, and was attended by representatives of 32 countries that had gained independence at that time. The organization's beginnings were represented in the consultations between the Guinean President Ahmed Sékou Touré, the Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie, the Ghanaian leader Nkrumah, and the Egyptian President Gamal Abdul Nasser, which resulted in the Addis Ababa summit. Among the objectives of the organization are freeing the continent from colonialism, elimination of economic underdevelopment, and promoting the continent to the prestigious status it deserves as to international decision-making. Founders: Gamal Abdul Nasser. He is Egypt's second president. He assumed power from 1956 until his death. He was one of the leaders of the revolution of 23rd of July, 1952. Gamal Abdul Nasser was known as Father of Africa for his great efforts in supporting the African countries in gaining their independence. Many African countries constructed statues of Gamal Abdul Nasser in their biggest squares to pay tribute to him and his country, Egypt, for helping them restore their independence. Haile Selassie. He is the last of Ethiopian emperors. His rule ended in 1974. He began his rule by trying to develop the economic and social conditions, such as dissemination of education, improvement of health, and abolition of slavery for being a crime punishable by law. As well, he worked on constitution making for the country in 1931, stipulating a number of reforms. Haile Selassie participated in a number of African conferences that called for unity and cooperation among African countries. Ahmed Sékou Touré. He had been the president of Guinea since October 1958, after its independence. Sékou Touré sought to unite the independent African states under one banner. His visit to the Ghanaian president, Kwame Nkrumah, had a great impact on constituting the bedrock for founding the Organization of African Unity, where they formed the Union of Guinea and Ghana. Mali joined in 1960. It was called the Union of Independent African States, but it split due to differences. Sékou Touré did not succumb to these problems. Despite their deepness and entanglement, he called the Ethiopian president, Haile Selassie, to propose the idea of an African unity under one banner, and convinced him of his philosophy, and succeeded to convince African leaders of the idea. And they agreed to send their foreign ministers to the Ethiopian capital to discuss ways of blending the two unions. Kwame Nkrumah, among the first African activists and the first president of independent Ghana, from the 1st of July 1960 till the 24th of February 1966, and the most prominent advocate of African unity and one of the founders of the Organization of African Unity.